Social Security's trust fund runs out in 2032, not 2033, not sometime in the distant future. 2032. That is 6 years from now. The Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan agency that scores every piece of legislation in Washington, released updated projections in February 2026, moving the depletion date up by a full year. And when that clock hits zero, the law does not give Congress a choice. Benefits get cut automatically, no vote required. 23% across the board. For everyone. If you are already retired or within 10 years of retirement, this number affects you directly. Here is what changed, why it happened, and what you can do about it before the deadline gets any closer. In February 2026, the Congressional Budget Office released its updated baseline projections for the Social Security Trust Fund. The CBO is not a political agency. It works for Congress, both parties, and it is required by law to project what happens under current law, without assuming any future fixes. What it found was not encouraging. The OASI Trust Fund, the one that pays retirement and survivor benefits to the roughly 70 million Americans collecting Social Security right now, is projected to be exhausted in fiscal year 2032. That is 1 full year earlier than the 2033 projection from last year. And it is 2 years earlier than projections from just a few years ago. The timeline is not holding steady, it is moving in the wrong direction. Penn Wharton's budget model, released this month, independently confirmed the same projection. 2032 for the OASI fund alone, 2034 if you combine it with the Disability Fund. The official Social Security Trustees report had the combined depletion date at 2034 as of last year, but the Trustees report uses intermediate assumptions. Both CBO and Penn Wharton are now projecting the action-forcing date arrives 2 years sooner. 2 independent sources. Same conclusion? 2032. 3 things moved the date up, and they are all still in motion. First, the Social Security Fairness Act, signed in January 2025, eliminated 2 benefit reduction provisions for state and local government workers. That change added billions in new benefit payments immediately, accelerating the drain on the trust fund with zero new revenue to cover it. Second, economic growth has slowed. Real GDP growth fell to 1.4% in the fourth quarter of 2025. A softer economy means lower wage growth, which means lower payroll tax revenue flowing into Social Security. Less money in means the fund runs down faster. Third, the One Big Beautiful Bill's new senior deduction. The $6,000 bonus deduction for seniors reduces taxes on Social Security benefits, but those taxes flow directly back into the trust fund. The Social Security actuaries estimate this provision alone pulls the depletion date forward by another 6 months. Every one of those 3 factors is locked in. None of them reverse. Now let's be precise about what depletion actually means, because this is the part that gets misreported almost everywhere. Depletion does not mean Social Security disappears. It does not mean your check goes to zero. The program collects payroll taxes from every working American every single week, and that revenue keeps coming in regardless of what happens to the trust fund balance. What depletion means is this. Right now, Social Security pays full benefits by drawing on both incoming payroll taxes and the accumulated reserves in the trust fund. In 2032, those reserves run out. After that, the program can only pay what it collects in real time. And what it collects in real time is not enough to cover full benefits. Under current CBO projections, once the fund depletes, incoming revenue covers approximately 77% of scheduled benefits. That is an automatic cut of 23% for every recipient on the same day with no congressional vote required. Under a separate CBO scenario, the cut could reach 28% in the years following exhaustion. This is not a political threat, it is the math written into current law. Here's what that looks like in actual dollars. The average Social Security retirement benefit right now is $2,071 per month. A 23% cut brings that to $1,595 per month. That is $476 less every single month. $5,712 less per year. For a married couple both collecting benefits, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget estimates the average annual loss would be $18,400 per year, starting the day the fund depletes, automatically under current law. That is not a modest adjustment. That is the difference between covering your fixed expenses and falling short every month. Let's look at how this timeline has shifted over the past few years, because the direction of the trend matters as much as the number itself. As recently as 2023, the combined trust fund depletion date was projected at 2035. In 2024, it moved to 2034. In 2025, the trustees kept the combined fund at 2034, but flagged accelerating risk factors. Now in 2026, CBO puts the OASI fund alone at 2032. Every year, the projection has moved earlier. Not once has it been revised in the other direction. The Social Security clock is not holding steady. It is accelerating toward a fixed deadline, and the factors driving it are all still active. Three forces are accelerating this, and understanding them tells you whether the trend continues. Force 1 is demographics. 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every single day in America. Every one of them moves from paying into Social Security to drawing out of it. More people drawing out, fewer people paying in. That ratio worsens every year until the last boomer ages through, and we are nowhere near that point yet. The demographic math is locked in for at least another decade. Force 2 is expanded benefits with no new funding. The Social Security Fairness Act added benefits for millions of state and local workers, with zero new revenue to cover the cost. Every dollar of those new benefits comes directly out of reserves. Force 3 is the economic environment. Social Security is funded by payroll taxes on wages. When economic growth slows, wage growth slows, and tax revenue drops. The CBO forecasts a COLA of 3.1% for 2027, meaning benefit payments keep rising, while the tax base funding them grows more slowly. More going out, less coming in. The gap widens every year. Congress has the tools to prevent this. The options have been debated for decades. None of them are painless, but every one of them is preferable to a 23% automatic cut arriving on the same day for every retiree in the country. The levers available are these. Raise the payroll tax rate, currently 12.4% split between employer and employee. Raising it modestly would extend solvency by years. Lift or eliminate the earnings cap. Wages above $184,500 are not subject to Social Security tax. Lifting that cap would bring in significant new revenue without touching benefits. Gradually adjust the full retirement age from 67 towards 68 or 69 for younger workers without affecting anyone currently retired. Modify the benefit formula for higher income retirees while fully protecting lower income recipients who depend on Social Security most. Every one of those options has political opposition. None of them have passed. Prediction markets going into 2026 put the odds of Social Security reform passing through reconciliation at essentially zero. The math does not care about the politics. If Congress does nothing, the cut is automatic. The law says so. 3 steps you can take right now, all free, all within your control, regardless of what Congress does or does not do. Step 1. Run your personal break-even analysis on claiming age. If a 23% cut arrives in 2032, the math on when to claim Social Security changes significantly, claiming early at 62 locks in a permanently reduced benefit. And then that reduced benefit absorbs another 23% cut. You are stacking 2 permanent reductions on top of each other, delaying to 70 locks in the maximum possible benefit before any cut, giving you the highest possible base to absorb a reduction from. This does not mean everyone should delay to 70. Health, financial need, spousal benefits, and other income sources all factor into the right decision for your situation. But if you are in your early 60s and have some flexibility, the case for delaying is stronger right now than it was 2 years ago. The SSA's online estimator at ssa.gov is free. It takes 10 minutes. Run it this week. Step 2. Build a cut scenario into your retirement projections. Most retirement plans assume you will receive your full scheduled Social Security benefit for life. That assumption may not hold. Ask your financial planner to run your numbers using a scenario where your Social Security income drops 20 to 25% starting in 2032. What does your monthly cash flow look like in that scenario? What does your portfolio drawdown rate look like? Where are the gaps? Knowing the answer to those questions while you still have 6 years to adjust is completely different from finding out the day the cut takes effect. Step 3. Contact your congressional representatives. Social Security was fixed before, in 1983, Congress acted and stabilized the program for 40 years. It can be done again. But it requires political will, and political will requires constituents making noise. Find your senator and representative at usa.gov. It takes 3 minutes. It matters more than most people think. The 2032 number is no longer a distant warning. It is a projection from 2 independent nonpartisan sources, the Congressional Budget Office and Penn Wharton, using current law and current economic data. 6 years is not far away. Anyone already collecting benefits will still be collecting in 2032. Anyone retiring in the next few years will be newly on Social Security when the clock runs out. You cannot control what Congress does. You can control how informed you are and how well you plan around it. If this channel is helping you do that, subscribe. Every week, Social Security, Medicare, estate planning, the retirement finance numbers that actually affect your check. Next week, the IRS is quietly giving seniors a $6,000 tax deduction that most people have never heard of, and it expires in 2028. We will show you exactly who qualifies, how to claim it, and how much it could save you. Subscribe now so you do not miss it.